Hey, we are back with some show tunes. We're gonna play the game now. So,
Hey,
yeah, the way that this usually goes is the way that I've envisioned it is the director, unlike a role playing game like Dungeons and Dragons, where you're just like, okay, you're in this place, and then what do you do? And we just kind of keep going and following what your characters do. Show tunes sets up concrete scenes, right? It's my job as the director to say, here is where we're starting in the scene, because we're talking about musical theater here. Here's the opening. Here's what's happening. Here are the characters who are here. Now go. And then we follow that scene to its conclusion, stop the scene, skip forward in time as much as we need to, and start another concrete scene. There are moves in the game that will allow you guys to mess with that flow, right? To be able to set your own scenes. But in theory, I'm the one who's saying, this is what we're doing next. This is who's there. Before we get into that, though, let's give director's notes. So at the beginning of the session, I basically shine a spotlight on one of your stats for each character. And every time you roll on that stat, you get an XP. So Henry, I'm going to have...
pretty much only going to be rolling one stat, so...
Right, and so that's why I have to choose something different,
Right,
because
of
then
course,
it'll
yeah.
incentivize you to choose. So I'm gonna give you director's notes. And so the logic, the conceit behind this is me as the director telling you as the actor, right? Here's what I want to see for you. Well, what's more worth feeling? I want to see more emotion or whatever, right?
Right.
So David, I want to see meta from you, right? Let's have you interrogate the fiction a little bit from outside of the fiction. Let's
Okay.
co-GM with me a little bit here.
Sure.
So your meta is highlighted there. Tony, let's take a look. I want to see, obviously you're going to be rolling choreography because you're the Spitfire, but let's also see you roll some emotion, shall we? I want some feeling from you. So every time you roll emotion, you'll get to mark XP. Gareth, let's see, what do you got? Looking meta. I could be mean and shine a spotlight on your melody. You don't have as clean a second stat that's not quite as good as your first stat, like everybody else, because you chose you have good blocking and good meta. I won't be mean. I'll shine. Let's focus on your blocking. We'll go straight and narrow for you. All right, cool. Okay, so I think the first scene that we see is we see the kind of town square, right? I'm imagining the town square from Back to the Future, right? Very pristine. There's like a circle of road that kind of goes around this like nice kind of park. There's some benches. It's very pristine. There's maybe a diner on the corner we can see in the background. We're getting the opening orchestra sting. But I think the thing that we focus on, because I think this is kind of framed as a movie, maybe a movie musical is what we're seeing. And so we're getting close shots on all of the cars in town, right? We're seeing these pristine, clean family vehicles, right? Driving around town, right? And there's not a whole lot of them, right? It's kind of sparse. A lot of people are walking, but we're getting tight shots on like the rims of these cars, and then we're seeing one drive by, and we're also hearing in the soundtrack, right, as the orchestra's playing, we hear the light hum of these perfect American vehicles, right? And then all of a sudden, out of one of the streets that leads out of town, we hear this awful grating noise of Tony's motorcycle. And it's only awful by contrast, right? We've been getting this pristine scene, and now all of a sudden, like a thunderclap, we just get this roaring in the soundtrack now. What does it look like when Tony rides up on his motorcycle into the middle of town?
Sunny day.
hmm
I'm riding in. He's not speeding or anything like that. He's just got a
Yeah.
loud engine. Got the thumps of the exhaust going as he's
Yeah,
coming
exactly.
through. He'll just nonchalantly come in and park over by the diner.
Yeah.
He's got
And the way that Tony does it isn't, I'm sure it's not super obtrusive, but by contrast, the way that we've been framing all of this, it seems obvious that you're breaking the peaceful solitude of this town.
All the vehicles are perfectly parallel, and then your bike's just like this.
And yours is just like at an
Yeah.
angle that's like, immediately at contrast to everything. Yeah, exactly.
maybe I park. There's just enough space between two cars, and I just park right in between them.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's definitely not an official parking space.
They don't have bike spots. That's why.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And we don't see either of our other characters yet. But we see Tony, and I assume you go into the diner.
I get off the bike, take off my helmet, put it on the thing.
Yeah, do you want to give us a description of Tony? I don't think we actually went through everybody's looks.
So, Tony kind of looks like you're young, dark hair, kind of brown. He's got just a standard, let's say, a gold helmet. There's no face on it whatsoever. It's just the helmet itself. It's kind of in the back. Bike leather jacket, white t-shirt, jeans, and boots. Very simple. Leather belt. Parks the bike, gets off the bike, twirls.
Sure. Yeah.
Take the hat off, or the helmet off, puts it on the bike, kind of spins it a little bit on the handlebar as it spins on it.
And every time you're doing these like twirling and spinning motions, we're getting a kind of like a in the soundtrack, right? Like the orchestra is like kind of playing up to it. Yeah.
All right. And then I stop in the twirls. I look at the diner, and I'm heading towards the diner.
Yeah. And we're seeing, like a group of maybe like young women, maybe schoolgirl age, not like elementary, but like high school age, who have stopped. They're on the sidewalk to the left of the diner, and they're both kind of clutching their school bags, and then like, oh my goodness, like, who is this? Like, and we just see this like from the side, right? And then you enter the diner, and everyone looks at you, right? There's not a whole lot of people in the diner, but we do see a gaggle of other high school students. We see the pretty waitress who's attending to someone's order and then looks up at you, right, with doll eyes. We see this disgruntled kind of like greasy cook in the back, kind of middle America man, just like shake his head as you're walking up to, and I assume you go like up right up to the bar, like the counter.
I don't walk. I strut in beat.
Strut, of course.
It's a musical. So
to the music,
in beat of the music to the bar, and then I just kind of leg around the seat, sit down, kind of like a Riker maneuver. Leg around the seat.
Yeah, and I think we get we as you're sitting there. We then get a shot of the waitress who's just finished, writing down the order of the person that she was writing down the order for, and then makes her way, around you and then behind the counter. And she puts the little tag, with the order for the cook behind her, right? And then she turns around and kind of gives you a look up and down, and then she says, "So, what do you have?"
I'll have a burger and a sarsaparilla.
All right, coming right up. And she seems kind of like, dazzled by you. But we again, as she turns to give the order to the cook, he just says, "I got it," and then turns around, starts making the food in the back. And we're definitely getting just a long shot of you sitting there waiting for your food. Everyone around you though has like all of their energy is focused on you. They're talking about you. Do you just sit there nonchalant waiting for your food?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I think next we get a shot of another car that seems slightly out of place in the scene, but only because we know what it means for our hero. We see a police car drive up, and Will Gareth. I assume he parks in a neat, orderly spot as well.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
A little distance away, probably in front of the next shop over.
Yeah. Yeah, so we get a shot of the bike again and see the police car pass by it, right? And then we follow the police car, and we're still kind of on like a low angle, and then we see Gareth's foot come out of the car, step out of the car, and then what do we see as we kind of zoom out and see Gareth Gilmore?
I'm I'm about, not too old, not too fresh off the press either. Still got that spunky patriotic, I love America, my America look in his eye.
You're probably a soldier, right? You're probably in World War II, huh?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Probably didn't spend too much of my time over there.
Yeah, you didn't get jaded by it, right? But you got all the patriotism still in your blood.
I went over after we were winning.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And man, seeing that bike has just got this frustrated look on my eye, and I start clumping my boots over to walk to it, get a look at the license plate.
Yeah. So, Gareth, is he? What's his like description here? Dark hair, light hair? What is it? Is he's classic.
It's kind of hard to see what his hair is underneath his officer's cap, but what you can tell is it's from the back. It's slick, straight, dark, not quite black hair. In his well pressed, well organized tan uniform, badge, tie, belt, holster, everything in tip top condition. Everything's looking straight, freshly ironed that morning.
So is this Gareth noticing the motorcycle when he was already in the vehicle, or do we see a shot of Gareth like walk towards the diner, maybe like just gonna go in to get a bite like he always does, and then he stops and like notices the motorcycle for the first time?
I think he was just cruising around watching the town. He sees the motorcycle, parks where he can, and then is walking over specifically to go to that motorcycle.
So we see him making like a beeline towards the bike.
Yeah.
And so, Tony, do you have plates, everything up to code there, or like they expired? What do we think? Yeah, do they even need like what are the state of license plates in the 1950s?
Yeah, let me look real quick because I don't
license plates, motorcycles. Let's see. Oh, this doesn't tell me anything. These are just images.
I don't think they were. I don't see any plates on the images.
ChatGPT is telling me they did, but I don't know if I can believe that.
I see plates, but I don't know if these are modern bikes that have been placed.
Yeah,
meaning current bikes of the old that have been plated since then. But it looks like they have some places for plates, so it's possible it's plated.
Yeah, we can just say so. Sure. So I guess the question would be then, Tony, do you have your plates in order?
Sure.
Okay. All right.
I got my plate.
Nothing you can immediately get him on there. But he is. I assume he's not parked. Yeah, he's not parked where he should be.
I'm gonna write down those plates and note the offense where it happened on my little cop pad for his tickets. Yep. And I'm gonna turn my head, look into the diner, and I think through the window, I immediately am gonna see this out of
You see the
place
silhouette
figure.
of it. Yeah, exactly.
I scowl and walk over to the doors, throw it open. The bell rings loudly,
hmm
and I just stand there for a second and survey. And I look over at the cook, kind of with a grin, because knowing him,
Yeah.
of course,
He-
as
he
this
gives you, like,
town
a-
policeman. Yeah.
Yep. He gives you like a. It's not. He doesn't ever smile, but he gives you like the grimace that you know is like a. Yeah, grimace, like, yeah, get the guy, yeah, sort of thing. But it does seem like everybody else, right? Their energy has been focused on Tony. And then all of a sudden, when you come in, they focus on you for a split second, and then immediately go back to what they were doing, right? Like they all just kind of like, oh, we're back into our normal. Okay, I see what's going to happen here. Like the new is gone. You know, the authority has arrived. Everything is back to normal, or so they think. Yeah. Do we see Gareth? However, does Tony notice Gareth right away? What do you think?
I'm gonna say he does. So Tony recognizes the sound of the boots and the bell
Yeah,
and the
yeah.
entrance of the cop, but just kind of sits there with his
Mhm.
food and drink and ignores him.
Yeah, and I think like the waitress like was putting down your stuff right as he was walking in, so we see her like she was about to like put it down quickly and then start like going like this and like start talking to you, but then all of a sudden she just changes her body posture, sets it down very carefully, and steps back and says, "There you go," and then goes off like, "Oh."
Heck, and I'll probably see him in the mirror that's in the back of the counter too.
Yeah, we see you look up. Your eye, like all we can see is the mirror, your face, and then it's looking back at him. Yep. Here's a question, real quick, before I go any further with the scene. Is Henry in the diner too somewhere? Do we get a shot of him, or is he not in the scene?
Good question.
What do you think?
I think probably not. Just so we can
Yeah, makes sense.
get an idea of the
That was my
conflict here.
guess too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Gareth, I assume you walk up to Tony.
How big is this diner?
Not super big. It's small town America. I'd
Okay.
say like a kind of standard 1950s diner. Big enough for the town.
Yeah, so I think I stay at the door, and I'm just gonna go look over at Tommy, and wait, that was the name, right?
Tony.
Tony, my bad. I'm gonna look over at Tony and say, "Son, can we have a word outside?"
Son.
Yeah,
I-
I'm acting older
Yeah.
than I
I
am.
know. I'm playing. I'm not your antagonist, but I'm playing antagonistically.
Yeah.
Son, I'm eating my food. I'll meet you outside.
That was order, not a request.
Now, as we are in the fiction here, right?
Yeah.
Gareth can't roll to convince you to do this because we're not in this musical number yet. Either of you could start one if we want to get to that. Otherwise, Tony can just make up his mind whether or not he wants to, listen.
I'll get up and follow.
All right.
I make noise
go.
as I do too, and I spin.
Yeah. Sure. Of course.
Choreography,
Mm-hmm.
And as
Very
I
intentional mover.
Right, and as I follow him, I'm going to follow him not with the same steps that strut I came in with, but something a little bit more. I don't want to say intimidating, but something more
Careful.
careful, but
Be brooding.
obviously there's a beat to it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you guys step out. We immediately see like a line of faces at the window, like start to like everyone's peering out, like what's gonna happen.
Could I? So we're not in a number.
Not a
right
number
now.
yet, but if you wanted to start
But-
rolling, we could do it now. Yeah.
Do we have to be in a number in order to roll stuff like meta?
No. Read the script is the only thing you can roll outside of a number.
Okay. So I'm just trying to get an idea at the best way to go about talking to one of these hooligans.
Mm-hmm. So I want to make something up about the fiction.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. Let's do it. Let's have you go ahead and roll meta, shall we? Got rule book up here. Yeah, so you should be able to just click on that, those abilities there. Click the little D20 next to meta, and it should roll it for you. I think you should just take the plus out of there. It should just be 2. It ruins the macro if you add the plus. Yeah, you're good. Because then it just does ++2 and it cancels out the whole thing.
Is that the same with the negative?
No, negative is that's correct. So yeah, go ahead and change that and then try that again. Ooh, that's a failure. All right. So on a miss, you may have gotten the wrong script. So what did you, so you wanted to find out like what would be a good way to deal with this hooligan? Well, what did you have in mind there?
Basically,
Like making up something about the town, like some way that you could like a law on the books or something like that like you could get him on or something.
no, because I mean he's already illegally parked. I was just trying to make it so that I was trying to figure out how to talk to a punk essentially.
Yeah, I mean that maybe maybe we should have asked you for more information on what you're thinking. I don't think that would have been a meta roll. I think that probably would have been like read the character or something.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So and that's something you can only do in a number. So we'll just cancel that out. Nothing bad has happened here. But I feel like it might be a good time to start a number if what we get from Gareth, right? You guys stand in front of the motorcycle, right? And then the first things out of Gareth's mouth is like singing, right? He just like looks at it, like
fantastic,
and then just immediately starts.
Throws the door open and some music starts playing. Yeah.
So let's have you. It sounds like you're the one starting it up here, Gareth. So let's have you make roll melody, shall we?
Oh, my phone's dying. There we go. Gotta plug it in. All right, rolling melody. My best stat.
You were good at meta and you failed, so we'll see how this goes. Yep. Not only marginally better. It's still a success though, technically. Okay, on a 7 to 9 with start singing, you get to name the song. The group takes a vote on the type of song it is and what it looks like, with ties broken by me. So,
wait. I had a +1 to melody there. I need a negative one.
Oh, you're right. Yeah.
So can I write in the negative?
You can, negative should be in there, just not pluses.
Okay.
Yep.
There's a plus automatically in the macro, so if you add another plus, it breaks it, but a minus doesn't. Yeah, it actually makes it work. Yeah.
Yep.
Cool.
Yep. So that was actually a 5.
I got a 5.
That's totally fine. So, basically, on a miss, name the song, but go wherever the music takes you. So you get to name the song, but it's all up to me from there what it actually sounds like and how it goes. So, let's see, Gareth. What do you want the song to be named? Like in Gareth's world here, what's happening? You're about to grill him, intimidate him as a punk. Like, what's the name of this song in our little track list, right, that we have here?
Violation.
Violation.
Nice.
Love it. All right. So, I think probably what you would have liked this to be is a solo, right? We're just telling them what's for, right?
Maybe.
But instead we'll make it a duet, right? So Tony will be able to respond to you, right? You start going at him and you're hoping it'll just be like a monologue, but instead, right? He also is responding to you. You know what? Even I think I'll make it a chorus. Because I think, not that like David's character would be here singing yet, but I think we're gonna get song like music from lyrics rather from the crowd in the diner too, right? Yeah. And then I think visuals wise, like what is like the genre and stuff. I think it's pretty straightforward. Like, I don't know what's the.
I don't think Gareth is dancing here.
Right, sure. Everybody else is.
Well, dancing isn't necessarily like, on a dance floor type dancing. It's choreographed moves that
choreographed movement.
display.
But I think it would be really funny if Gareth doesn't move the entire time.
Yeah,
Everyone's
Gareth
moving
is
around
just
him.
standing there stoic.
There you go.
With his arms crossed and his like one of his feet like slightly forward to the other.
Yeah.
In like a very finger waggable stance.
Yeah, for sure. I'm thinking this is some bombastic big band music that's happening here, right? We're getting brass, we're getting this chorus in the diner, and they're starting to filter out while the song begins. So I'm imagining, Gareth, you start off like explaining to him the violation, right? What is that? You don't actually have to sing it, obviously, but what does that look like?
Violation.
What sorts of things?
Here it is, right here in my pocketbook.
Nice.
Like
Very
something
nice.
like that.
Yeah, Mark and XP.
Oh, let's go.
Yeah.
Where's that?
Violation. Here it is. Right here in my pocketbook. Violation.
Where's the Mark XP?
It should be one of the attributes there. Should be the
top
I think.
one. Yep.
Yeah. And once you get to 5, it resets to 0, and you get to choose a new move.
I see it. I get a new move?
If you get to 5, yeah. Mm-hmm. All right, cool. So that begins. You're just explaining to him the violation. But I guess I think because you failed, I think we'll say if you had succeeded, you probably would have been able to roll right away to try to like intimidate him or whatever you wanted to do in this scene to like, show him the violation and get him to do something. But instead, I think the initiative goes to Brian instead, right? Goes to Tony. Tony, how do you interrupt? Like we're starting to get Gareth, Officer Gilmore, give you this spiel about the violation, but he's being interrupted or kind of surrounded by these diner extras, right? Who are starting to filter out onto the grass, out onto the sidewalk, onto the street, and start to like they're counterpointing him, and they're saying like oh no, it's a violation, like a battle of wills is about to happen, like that's the sort of lyrics that they're about to. But they're kind of just like watching to see what's going to happen, and then we get a moment where the music obviously kind of like goes down a little bit, and everybody focuses on you, and they want to know what you're going to do next. What do we see from Tony? How does he respond in the musical number?
My response will be, I'll look right at him and I'll go, cars, all I see are cars. There's no spot for my bike. All I see are cars. Cars, wagons, they're all down the line. And I'll walk down the line and sing as I point to each of the cars. And then the chorus in the background could be like, going cars or something like that.
Yeah.
But pointing out the fact that there's no room for my bike. to
Yeah,
park.
yeah. There was nowhere for me to park. Yeah, yeah. Cool.
Nice.
Yeah, mark an XP. Oh, nice job, Brian. Yeah, so we're getting that. And then, so you want, is this you, like, as Tony trying to explain to him, like, trying to get off of the violation by saying, like, actually rolling here and maybe, like,
Yeah.
persuading?
Exactly.
Okay.
So what do I got to
Perfect.
roll?
That would be emotion.
What? Alrighty. 7.
Nice. And then you rolled on emotion, so you get to mark an XP, right? That was the one I gave you director's notes about.
Yep.
So a 7 and 9 for persuade. For PCs, you get to choose one of the following. If they go along with you, they mark experience, or if they refuse, erase their director's notes for the remainder of the session. So you get to offer him carrot or stick here, right? Either way, you can, it's up to Will whether or not he actually goes along with it. But you're giving him incentive or some disincentive if you go away from him. Up to you. So you can basically offer him some experience if he says yes, or you can say, if you refuse, I'm taking away your director's notes. And so it doesn't matter what Will rolls, he won't get XP from that.
Oh, I get to choose?
Your choice. Yep. Mm-hmm.
I think I would choose a more since he's the antagonist, the downside to that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So you're gonna do stick.
Yeah.
Yep. So, and this is, obviously like a meta thing for players, but Will, now if Gareth goes along with this, then nothing bad happens, right? Nothing good happens either, but nothing bad happens. If you refuse to go along with this persuasion of Tony's, then your blocking highlight is gone, which you're going to get a buttload of XP on that, my friend, this session. So, up to you.
Because it wasn't a total success, can he get off with it? But I'm basically like, one more wrong move and you're done for.
Sure. Yeah. No. Of course. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah.
I would expect nothing less
Yeah.
from Officer Gilmore.
I think that's his response.
Cool. Yeah. Is that obviously there would be like way more context that was last a lot longer, but is that basically the end, like the entire scene right there is just like that back and forth, and eventually Officer Gilmore just is like, fine, but one more, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we kind of just, a lot of that's just happening in our minds there. But I would even think that maybe it's not even Gareth like singing it. It's just him saying it at the very end. Everyone's been singing and dancing around him. And Brian, Tony's been giving you more and more explanation for like, this is another reason why, like, I don't have a parking space. And then here's another reason, and I'm just a strange, like, would you do this to just a visitor to your town? Like, he's just adding more and more, like, I'm just an innocent dude, like, how could you do this to me? And all the diner extras are like, come on, man, like, pleading, like, he's so cool, like, don't give him a ticket. And then it's just like, everyone's like waiting, their hands are outstretched towards you, and then you're just like, fine, but
Yep.
Cool. Love it. And then we just get the like sting of brass as the scene ends, and we cut there. Cool. There we go. That's our first track. I'm thinking we cut the scene there and go to I don't know. I want to frame a scene with David's character. But with this here, I'm thinking of two possibilities. Either Tony then gets himself into something that you would be at, like you would be involved with something in town, and you're there at whatever this is, or are we going to where Henry is, like maybe he's fixing up his bike or whatever, and for some reason Tony shows up there, or even Gareth, depending.
Yeah, I was thinking maybe like we get a shot of Tony on his bike, and then we zoom in on the bike. And then, some small details on the bike change, and we zoom back out, but we're it gets dark, and we zoom out, and we're in a garage. And Henry's, just kind of like passively, waxing it or just sort of tending to it. But it's probably like one of the wheels is probably on a block, right? Like it's very clear he doesn't drive it, but it looks like he does, like it's shiny and nice, but it's obviously not being used.
I could totally see that. One of the reasons being in town is maybe I need to get something fixed on my bike, or it needs to be, there's no gas station around or something like that. So he's the only gas station. I don't know, something like that, where I got to fuel up, get provisions. And
hey, that's an idea. Does Henry own a gas station?
Oh, cool. I was thinking maybe like the bike you have is super rare, and you heard that I had a bike like that, and you need a part for it. And like maybe that's why it's so loud, because it's missing some pieces you need.
No, I want it louder. What are you talking about?
I would even say we could just combine those two, right? Like it makes more sense. There's less like assumptions we have to make if only the latter is true. I think it might be cool if Henry has like a gas station or an auto mechanic shop or whatever. Sure. It's a generic place where he would go anyway, and then he finds out, oh, this is exactly what I need, like that sort of.
Yeah, I think a mechanic shop makes sense. Yeah,
sure. Yeah, okay.
Like he probably only really works on cars now, but it's clearly
right. In the back room of the shop, he has his beauty. Yeah. Cool. All right. So, Henry, what does Henry look like? What do we see as we kind of zoom out and actually get a shot at him?
Henry is a middle-aged guy. He's got short cropped hair. His clothing, we see him wearing like a suit, but it's obviously not a 50s suit. It's like a 20s suit, right? So it's probably whatever he was wearing a lot before. I guess it would have been late 30s. So it was before the war, but it's obviously he's sort of stuck in a different time clothing wise. We see he sort of is a little bit hunched over, and even when he stands up, it looks like maybe he spent a lot of time bent over machinery and that kind of stuff. He's probably like humming to himself the song that was just playing when Tony drove away, so humming the same rhythm, right?
The same melody.
As we lead into that.
Cars.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, ironically appropriate. There's probably a bunch of cars like sitting out in the front. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. And so do we just get that shot, and then we hear the motorcycle in the distance slowly come up and drive up.
Yeah. You see Henry look at his motorcycle like, it's definitely not mine, and then he looks up.
You look out through the shop and you see Tony ride up on his motorcycle. Here's a question for you, Tony. Is there someone else on your bike? Do you have like a pretty young, maybe the waitress decided to come with you or something?
I'm
you're
by myself.
Still a free spirit. Yeah,
I'm
of course.
A free spirit. I don't get tied down with that kind of
stuff. Sounds good. All right. Yeah. So, do you have like a partner, Henry, or is it just you? Do you have anyone else who works in the shop?
I think it's probably just him.
Sounds good. Yeah, it's small town America. There's not a whole bunch.
He probably just does this like to have something to do, right? I imagine he probably was in the war for like America was only in the war for a few years, but probably that whole time, right? And he probably has a military pension, that kind of stuff. Yeah, and is just kind of doing this so he has something to do.
Is there any noticeable like scar or like injury from the war that like you have?
Yeah, probably, because I mentioned he was hunched, and maybe there's like maybe he has like a limp too. Like it's clear that maybe like something hurt him, and that's why he is sort of has a weird posture.
Yeah, it may give you more sense why you have like a military pension and stuff too. So got some benefits there.
Right.
Cool. Yeah. Does Henry get up right away? Does he stay in the back of the shop? What do we see there?
I think he heads up. He just probably assumes that someone's coming through town and needs, something for their vehicle.
Sure. Yeah. I'll hand it over to you, Tony. What do you say? Yeah.
Pull right in, take the helmet off, set it down, get off, spin around.
Yeah, always have to do the twirl. Yeah,
I got to do the twirl. Hey man, how's it going?
Now, what kind of bike is it?
I don't know.
We can be vague about it. It's fine. I didn't know if.
Yeah,
I know nothing about motorcycles, so
we'll say it's an Indian. Just
okay,
for the fun of it.
Yeah,
yeah, Indians are pretty cool. They're Harley Davidson Indians and so on and so forth. So yeah, I pull in. I need gas. I need oil. I need um, some spark plugs. Can you help me
Guys,
out?
you don't see a lot of those around. Not around here, anyway. What's your name, son?
My name's Tony. Tony James.
Good to meet you. Are you new in town? I don't recognize you.
Passing through.
Well, why don't you roll her in and we'll get working on it. He like gestures to the little, I don't know, maintenance area.
I'll push the bike in.
And then, yeah, so I think like, as he's going toward, he starts taking a look at it, sets it up on the chalk or whatever, and says, pardon me, where are you heading? You're passing through town.
Heading west.
A lot out west, anywhere specific? If you don't mind my prying.
Wherever the road takes me.
I used to know some fellas like that. And he, popping out the nut on the bottom of the thing, draining the oil and, that kind of stuff.
What's with your copper? Wild cars.
Oh, sorry, what was the last thing you said?
What's with the copper? What's with all the cars?
Oh, you mean, sorry, I don't know what's going on with me today. Joking at that. You must mean
That was me yesterday.
yeah. You must mean Gareth. You ran into him already?
Yeah, I ran into him. He gave me a violation.
Yeah, it's like you're almost about to go back into the number, and then like it fades again.
Yeah. We hear it in Gareth's voice, like behind yours.
Yeah, maybe way in the distance you hear like the chorus still just say it.
Still going. He says, yeah, he's not a fan of motorcycles. He's got some history with them, and well, it's easier for folk to just, avoid the drama, as it were. Cars are safer, I suppose, anyways. He starts putting oil in the reservoir and goes to get a gas tank, so that it's filling up the gas. But yeah, I mean, if you're just passing through town, well, I'd say don't linger because, like I said, Gareth's got history, but I don't know. Maybe you do him some good. Not a lot happens in this town.
Is there a place to stay?
I'd like to maybe potentially roll
Roll your move.
Show up.
roll my move to show up at that moment.
Let's check it real quick. I think, yeah,
You guys
it's
are rolling.
meta. So I think it works. I should probably make a note specifically either on this move or on meta itself that you can roll it outside of musical numbers. But I think, yeah, that seems like it. Part of the intent there is you could do it now.
Mhm.
Sure. Yeah, go for it.
Basically, I'm gonna try and come in essentially and say, and that's the way we like it. After he says,
right. Of
after
course,
he
yeah.
says,
Nothing ever happens
nothing
in
ever
this town.
happens.
Yep.
Right. Let's get this meta going.
Hey, 8's better. On a 7 and 9, you arrive in the scene at the moment of your choosing, but there's a price to pay. What do you think? Ooh, is your cop car actually need repairs, and that's why you're here?
I was thinking I might have had some community members let me know where the motorcycle was. It's not that hard to follow.
Right, but like, what's the price to pay?
I don't know, cause is this workroom not supposed to be like accessed by the rest of the people? Cause it may just be like I'm trespassing ish, or just
Uh,
trespassing.
Yeah, it
yeah,
does
I mean, I
depend on Henry.
suppose if you're there for like police business, right, you got to have a reason to be there, or if you're just walking in, you kind of need permission for that. But I mean, it is a business. So yeah, maybe it's just like this is, like it says employees only on the door or something, maybe.
Yeah, that would depend. I would say, like, if you wanted to do something like that, as long as Henry's fine with it, we would have to play it like Henry's miffed that you did this, and maybe we'd even like mechanically have you like lose a chemistry with him.
Mm. I'm fine with either, honestly. I just had like, well, why would this be possible in my head? But I liked your idea of having a not I'm just tailing him reason to be there.
Yeah, well, because my thought was like, if there's a price to pay, maybe you're here because your cop car is broken down and you won't have it until he actually fixes it, right? So if something does happen with Tony in the next scene, you won't have your car, right?
You wouldn't be able to chase him, yeah.
Yeah.
And of course,
Remember
Tony knows that. He's watching your car come into the shop. Yeah.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Do you want to go with that, Will?
Sure,
that sounds good to me. Yeah, okay. Cool. Yeah, so we hear you say that, right? And you guys were talking, and loud machine noises were happening while you're fixing the bike, and so you didn't hear him pull up because, of course, his car is much more way silent compared to the motorcycle.
I got a nice muffler on her.
Yeah. So Officer Gilmore says, and that's how we like it.
Morning, officer.
Morning.
I'm with a customer at the moment.
Want to make it too?
I did always say I needed another pair of hands. Well, just leave the car out front, or I guess you should probably figure out why you're here. Can I help you with anything?
I did just say if you wanted to make it a second customer.
I see, gotcha. Your the old squad needs a transmission replaced again. I told you should just make them buy another one. It's been doing that since I was since I was driving it.
Yeah, the mayor keeps telling me we don't have the funds for it.
Oh yes, well, how else will he afford his steak dinners? All right, well, go ahead and leave it out in the front. I'll take the keys and I'll get to it as soon as I'm done here.
When did you learn how to work on a bike?
Yeah, he glances over towards like the corner, and it's kind of hard to see from here, but there's like an old bike chalked up on it. He says, I've known how to do it for a while. I told you about your dad and I, didn't I? We used to ride together.
That must have been a long time ago.
It was.
Imagine Tony's like in between you in the shot, like
yeah.
you're going back and forth.
Yeah.
As Tony's listening, he pulls out a pack from his coat pocket and then flips in a piece of gum.
Yeah, Henry looks at Gareth and looks back to Tony and says, he's got like sort of, the engine block open, and he says, the spark plugs in this are pretty fouled. Looks like they'll run, but I'm gonna have to go into town to get or into the city to get replacements. So I don't have anything like that here. We don't get a lot of motorcycles in town. He looks at Gareth again. And he says, and I'm not sure the ones out of my old girl will fit, but I guess I could try. You might have to stay around for a day or two till I get a chance to go into the city.
That's talking to Tony.
To Tony, yeah. Basically, I'm telling him like I'm gonna have to get replacement parts for your spark plugs that I don't have. Like the bike will run, but I don't know how long it'll run for without new plugs.
I think Garrett's gonna um mention to him, kind of like talking over the tool's clamor.
Mhm.
Throw on something to make it quieter while you're at it.
To the motorcycle, yeah.
Yeah, I think he just kind of gives you a look like, yeah. Um, and
And I think Gareth leaves at that point.
he takes off. Yeah, he just says that as he's leaving. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
slams the door. Sorry about him, son. He's, like I said, got history. And then is there a place to stay in the town? Because he had asked that before Gareth had come in.
I'd assume there'd be something.
Yeah.
But if you want to make up something specifically, we get real meta.
Sure. Yeah. Well, I think he was gonna say, there's a motel down the road, but well, the lady who runs it's nice enough, but she's not one for. She's not the cleanest. She's not one for cleaning very thoroughly, if you get my meaning. But my house is empty, so if you're just staying for a day, you're welcome to crash on my couch.
I can do that. Grab my pack off the bike. Where do I go?
Yeah, the back door's unlocked. I gotta go drive the officer's car in. Replace this
Alright.
thing for the third time.
I'll go in. I guess I'll go do the twirl and then go into the into the back room. Find a place to flop.
Cool.
Right.
Yeah, and I mean, we don't necessarily need to have a number there. It's kind of setting up some things.
Mhm.
Let's see where I'm trying to think of where we should go next here.
Sure.
I am interested in seeing, like, I'm wondering, maybe we stay with what's his face, Henry. What is Henry thinking about all of this, right? As he's like pulling the officer's car in and starting to work on it, and he's like, I'm wondering if we get like a solo here, or maybe you're contemplating like your old life or something like that.
Right. Yeah, and I think he goes over to his bike, and we see, like, now that you're getting closer, and it's maybe like a tarp half over it. It's like the same model as this bike, right? Same manufacturer, or whatever. Like, pretty good chance that his spark plugs would fit in that other one, and he's not using them. It's not running, so he could probably have just done that. So
Yeah.
it's clear that he wanted this guy to stay around for some reason. Like, he was,
Yeah.
he obviously doesn't have them, but he could have just used his own. See, I think, yeah, maybe I can fail a roll to start singing if you want. And
Yeah, because that feels to me, with my knowledge of musical theater, that seems like that's my instinct that would happen next, as we get this like
yeah, he starts
emotional
singing
solo.
about his own.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Did you say I can fail a roll to start singing?
Yeah, I did. Here we go. I've played these kinds of games enough to know. All right, well,
You got a +0. That was the
Oh,
absolute
the
highest
irony.
you
I
could
guess
roll.
I'll take it. Boxcars, I won't complain.
That's
Oh.
All right, on a 10+, name the song, choose the
Hilarious.
type of number it is, and tell us what it looks like. Take +1 the first time you shine a spotlight on one of these features. So
Sure.
during the song, if you want to make any sort of roll, you'll get a +1 forward when you emphasize either the name, the
Mhm.
type of song it is, or the visuals or whatever of it. What do you think?
It's called One Bike Town.
One Bike Town. Nice.
And yeah, I think
Assume it's a
it's
solo.
yeah, and it's probably a slower kind of like reflective melody, right? And I don't know. I'm not good at that sort of thing. Maybe piano. I don't know.
Mhm.
Or a flute. I don't know what's somber.
Slow reflective ballad.
Yeah, yeah.
That kind of, yeah.
And I think he starts singing about how, like, he used to know what it felt like to feel the wind on his face and to feel free, and now he lives in a one bike town, and that he liked to see, or maybe like he doesn't want to see this sort of kind of same thing happen to somebody else, right?
Yeah.
and he wants to try and keep this kid's spirit alive for his free spirit, right? Despite the town he's in.
For sure. Yeah. I'm thinking maybe we do have you read a character, maybe, or read a scene, like you get some setup here for Henry, like to be able to do better things in the future or something.
Yeah, I think he might even say something about it, and and while he's here, maybe he'll even leave something good behind, right? Like it's not just for Henry's sake. Sorry. Yeah. So is that blocking?
Yeah, it's blocking. I'm trying to think. Probably read a character, right? You're trying to like know more about Tony himself.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. Sure.
Yeah.
I can't do anything to try and take away any pluses he might give to.
I don't think so. You're not in.
You'd have to have something that lets you like
song.
hijack the song to make it a duet, I think, right? Because as a solo, I'm the only one who can make. Although didn't we say that the active person in the song might not be able to do read, because wasn't it?
Yeah, I thought about it, but I decided that we'll just play it like this for now.
Sure,
I didn't see a real reason to change it.
Yeah, and I think that makes sense, especially for the active person to be able to do them all.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Would Catalyst kind of work in this situation? Only because even though they're not there with each other, I can kind of get the sense that they both could be singing the same song in a duet.
Yes, I mean,
Tony
I don't know
and Henry.
I don't know.
Yeah, I could see two familiar characters doing something like that.
Yeah,
cool. I agree. I don't know. The thing is,
purpose except to establish the connection
right
of their bonds.
I could even see this, like all three of you singing different versions of One Bite Town, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I do have Boss Fight, which lets me just chime in as an aside.
And that was my thought. Like it would either be up to David to decide to let one of you in on it or both, or if Gareth, you could also roll, I think, Boss Fight. Even if you're off stage, you can.
Yeah, no, honestly, I think singing, like, have you seen one of the very few musical things I'm familiar with? Oh goodness, Dr. Horrible Sing Along Block.
Yeah.
He's singing when he and Penny or whatever her name is are both singing I can't remember the name of the song. They're singing the same song, but they have different lyrics to it. And one's like, can you hear that breaking sound? Everyone's hearts are breaking, or whatever. And then she's like, everything's hopeful. And I imagine like that, right? Where we're singing the same tune but the lyrics are slightly different.
Yeah, for sure. It's going back and forth, and like, you'd be singing, "Oh, it's One Bite Town," because of how things have changed and whatever.
I'm singing
Tony.
No Bike
Tony
Town.
would be like, "It's a One Bite Town."
Yeah,
and
it's one bite too many, right?
One bite too many. Yeah. That exactly. That would be Gareth's thing there.
Like,
right?
I think maybe Gareth's hoping to use this opportunity to be like, you should also stop caring about bikes,
right?
And to Henry, right?
For sure. Yeah. So up to you, David. Do you want to just let everybody in on it?
Yeah, I mean, I think so. Especially considering the time constraint, I think the more we have everybody in, the better.
That makes sense to me.
And I almost wonder if instead then of blocking, if I'm doing like
what's your actual role here? Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Because sort of what he's trying to do, he's trying to arrange this, right, so that these people are here long enough to have time to interact with one another and to hopefully make things better for everybody. And so he's kind of being a little manipulative. It kind of makes me think of like Persuade, even though he's not directly, talking to them, right? He's trying to arrange the situation.
Sage advice, I could see being what's happening here.
Sure.
Because it's already made to be kind of weird and meta, because you can be off stage or dead when you're doing it.
Right,
it could literally be you just kind of, by setting up the situation, this is the path you're trying to set these people on. Let's have you make that roll, and then we can see if Will or Brian want to make rolls too.
That's good.
Yeah, so roll plus blocking.
Out of 10. On the 10 plus, they're convinced of the wisdom of your words.
Yeah, so for PCs, 10 plus both.
Oh, right. That's an NPC, sorry.
So they get both carrot and stick. So both of you, wait, actually, this would be for a specific character. I think is what this is supposed to be, though.
You offer sacrifice to another character. Yeah, so it kind of says one. And I think for me, this is, I know that Garrett isn't going to want, or for Gareth isn't going to want Tony around, but I think it's like he's trying to get Tony to stay, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Sure. And yeah, so I think,
Sure.
I think Tony's probably the target of that.
Yeah. So your sage advice specifically is stay in this town and do something good here.
Yeah, and you can, make an impression and change some of the things that have been like, because obviously the bike is the sort of stand-in for, a free spirit, right?
Yeah.
Symbolically. And so I think he's hoping that it'll liven the place up and get people to come out of their shells if they have somebody like this here. And that so he can do that.
Yeah. So Brian then in the meta here, what's happening is Henry is through this song, and maybe your character's even hearing it from the back room or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we're seeing you like think about the lyrics that he's singing or whatever, right? He's giving you the sage advice of that what David just said, right? Like stick around, make a difference here. If you follow the advice, you take +1 forward when acting on it, and you get to mark experience, which basically means the next thing you do, you'll get +1 on it, and you get to mark experience. If you refuse, though, you'll take -1 forward when acting against the advice, and you must erase your director's notes. So it's a hyped up persuade.
No, I'll go along with it.
Sounds good.
I kind of get the picture. It's not the. I've seen plays do this too, where you have like the multiple people singing the same song.
Yeah.
In their head, one a different way than the other. So I could totally go then with the bond with Henry, the one bond I have with Henry, be persuaded in that same direction, and sort of then we're not in duet, but kind of like a duet where we're in concert with each other.
Yeah, for sure. Cool. And then what does the song look like from Officer Gilmore's perspective then, right? If he's giving counterpoint here, talking about one bike town, meaning one bike too many. What would you want to like try to do? What's that look like? Are you trying to rile up the townspeople?
I'm trying to so let me know if I can do this in the game setup. I'm trying to counteract the motivation that's getting put on Tony to like keep going in his life path, because my whole thing is like he's got to stop. He's got to cut this out.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you could try to hinder the move that David just rolled, right, and make it less. Like if I don't know, let's check what your max like effect could even be on that though. It's possible it won't have any effect.
I roll a 10, so he could take it down to a 9. Although I will say that it on a 7 to 9, the person chooses 1 instead, and he.
Yeah, that won't really have any effect.
Won't change much. Yeah,
it won't. Yeah. So that's not a good option, I don't think. But if we're thinking another way to do this, you is this you singing to anyone in particular?
I mean, I could just be singing this as I'm walking home.
Right. That's what I'm wondering. I'm thinking it's probably more that. So then, who are you trying to influence then? If like no one can hear you, right?
Yeah, probably the town.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, right? It's like you're going around and getting all the straight-laced people up in arms about this.
Maybe like the mayor or something, right?
Yeah. It also escalates us towards like one last scene that we can quickly do and be done, right? Yeah. Let's have you make that roll. Is this like you making a plan, mastermind?
Yeah. I think probably getting him trapped in a court of public opinion.
Well, actually, so that one is like when you just spring a trap.
Yeah.
So that's probably the thing you're going to be rolling in the next scene. Let's
Yeah.
have you make like some sort of like read a situation or something move. Or maybe, you know what? You're probably just doing persuade.
Yeah.
You're just trying to get
that was-
the
that was my
townspeople
thought.
up in arms. Yeah.
Unless he has a
that's what you're
special
doing.
version of that.
He does not.
I know.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Let's have you roll emotion then. Good luck. All right. Not bad.
Not bad.
Nice.
Okay, so for NPCs on 7 and 9, they'll go along with you, but they need some concrete assurance, evidence, or leverage first. So we're hearing this song happen, right? And I think we're focusing probably on, you probably go to the mayor, but like you probably also are talking like with the straight-laced guy from the diner, or that's probably like the main person we're focusing on since we've already seen him. And I'm thinking maybe he says, maybe you're talking to the people in the diner, right? And the waitress brings up, right? Like they're all listening to you, and you're saying stuff like, you know, if he stays here, they're gonna like, you know, he's gonna ruin our town and like change it forever.
I think if people are being a little hesitant to you know, condemn him, I'd be like, well, I'd come out of this song for a second and still in cadence with the song be like, well, when was the last time your car was scratched? Or
Yeah.
or you were woken up in the middle of the night. These biker gangs are trouble, I tell you. And then I go back to singing.
Yeah.
1% gang.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But when there's more, where there's one, there's always more, right?
Exactly.
It's not just a one bike town anymore, right? Like,
No, sir.
yeah, and I'm imagining like probably that's what like the thing that makes you say that is like the waitress like brings up like, but no, like I talked to him. He seemed like a really swell guy, right? And then you start, but your car was scratched, and you're yeah. The noise of his motorcycle, yeah, exactly, yeah. So is the concrete assurance, leverage, or evidence? It's just like, because I don't think you actually have evidence on him yet because he hasn't actually done anything except for park weird. So I think there's something more there that like maybe even the diner guy, the cook, he brings that up. He's like, listen, I want to go along with you, but we just don't have anything on him. We're a law-abiding town, and if he hasn't broken a law, if he hasn't actually done anything yet, then what can we get him on? And this could be you like telling them what your plan is going to be, your trap that you're going to spring to on him, right? It could literally be you setting him up, like framing him or getting him to slip up.
Challenge him to a race or something.
Okay, I'm trying to formulate these lyrics.
Okay.
So he's talking to me there, and then I sing out a night, and I get a response back, a night. When it's all damp and dreary, that's when we'll get him. I'm trying to think of like a way to concretely explain this without sounding like a horrible person.
You're not a horrible person. You're just a lawman trying to enforce.
Well, yeah, until Will tells us what he's about to say.
Entrapment. Yeah.
I want to cut his brakes.
Okay. Yeah.
So he hit something. I want to cut his brakes so he hits something, but I don't know how to say that without being.
Yeah, I mean, you could just imply more than anything else. You could be like, these hooligan types, they love like disturbing the peace at unreasonable hours. Well, he'll be driving around and he won't be paying attention, and suddenly he'll crash into one of your cars.
Lose
You'll
control.
watch, it'll happen, right?
Yeah, I like that one.
Yeah, it's so I think the people in the diner that you're talking to, I think the waitress says, well, when it happens, then we'll see about pouncing on that poor man, right? And she's like, oh, it's not going to happen, and you're like, I'm going to make it happen.
Yeah.
Nice. Cool. Yeah. Brian, did you have anything that you wanted to add to that song, or is most of this just you listening to the song, like your character?
I guess being the Spitfire that I am,
Mhm.
part of taking what he has, adding and then kind of adding more of a this town's got to change from a
Ooh, do we expand upon it? And this is you actually going out into the town and making it a one bike town? Like, yeah.
I figured that would be the next scene. Right now, it's just kind of building up to that point, and then we go to the third act where I'll carry through and use that +1 I got off of his card.
Maybe we can see, because I was thinking it might be cool if Henry and Tony had like a conversation, maybe not like with actual dialogue, but just like they're talking over the bike, and like, maybe they like are gonna go ride a bike, like maybe even Henry like puts the wheel back on his old bike or something, right? Like if they get ready to go do something, like actually go drive somewhere, and then that could maybe be the setup for the next.
Yeah. Maybe the end of the song is after. Yeah, you talk to him, and it's like, let's go for a ride.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
And now it's a 2-horse town, right?
Yeah. Now it's exactly. Yeah. It's not just
except his brakes are cut.
Or while I'm singing about it and I'm thinking about 1-horse town, I know enough about bikes that I actually repair his bike enough that he can actually ride.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Maybe we see them like fixing his bike together. Yeah, that'd be awesome. Or maybe it's even like it's like
it crescendos to a 2-bike town.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And maybe it's like, he knew how to fix it, but he never wanted to spend money for the parts. But because your bike is like the same, you have like a spare piece that you didn't need, that he like was the one he needed or whatever, something like that.
That sounds like it's perfect for Brian to roll Catalyst, because that's him trying to change things by getting you your bike back, right?
Yeah, I like it.
There you go.
That's
all right. So that's I got to roll.
Could be choreography.
Yep. And I have a +2 on that. That's nice.
Nice. There you go.
There you go.
All right, so on a 10+, you can choose 3 of the options there. Now, keep in mind, if you don't choose, no one starts disliking you, then someone does. If you don't choose, you don't put yourself in a spot, you do.
Right, but I'm actually looking at the first one. You may change the type of the number to a chorus or a duet. If the duet, choose one other player character to be the other member of the duet. You are the first. So even though he was singing it, I was singing it, I bring him into the scene because it says
cut Will's character out for a moment.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I can pull any characters of your choice on stage and have any other stage exit
stage left. Get Will out of here.
Pull Will out. We fixed the bike. And I think the third one is give director's notes to any player character replacing or existing. No, I don't know if that works. Anything.
So that would be changing someone's like highlighted stat there.
Yeah, I guess we would change the visuals of the current number. So it goes from the fixed bike to riding in town with both bikes working.
So it stops being it stops being a slow reflective ballad and becomes what?
I'm a cruising for bruising.
Is there a song list or something?
No, this would just be like kind of like what is the choreography genre, like what that sort of stuff.
Yeah, because it was like sort of a slow, somber.
I feel like
thing. So now
it goes from a solo somber lament to a to what we had where everybody was singing a
Yeah.
different version of the song to an encouraging, uplifting, inspirational song that pulls forth the motion of the challenge, the spirit of freedom, the idea that you could be free from where you were once, and together we will be a gang.
Right. Yeah.
I feel like
Nice.
would that, is it just flavor or mechanically like two different songs kind of, but they like, if you're playing them right one after another, it feels like they didn't change because it like leaves on the same note and comes into the same note, but it would
Yeah.
have like
Yeah,
And I think
I think
probably
100%
in
of-
this part of the song, we're probably singing the same lyrics, Tony and
Right.
Yeah.
Henry, right? Instead of everyone singing
Same
different. Yeah.
lyric. With a bit of a we can do it.
Yeah.
You know, we can do it. We can succeed. We can change this town from a one bike town
Yeah.
to a multiple bike town.
Right.
which is
Yeah.
Opposite.
That's what I was
You're
talking
right,
about,
Dan.
man.
Yeah, exactly. You got it.
Yeah. When there's one, there's more. They multiply. Yeah. Good stuff.
Cool. Yeah, I love it. Love it. So that does mean that no one starts disliking you, otherwise someone does. So I think this act has actually started to prove what Will said to the townspeople, right? Some of them are
Mhm.
like, wait, we didn't think there were going to be more bikes. We thought he was lying to us, but he's right. More bikes. And then also you don't put yourself in a spot, otherwise you do. So I think the thing that like we lead right into the next scene with is whatever spot you put yourself into.
Yeah. Which was probably whatever.
Okay. So here's my question. According to this, it says on a 10 plus, choose 3.
Yeah.
And I chose 3 already. So do I get all the stuff happen?
No. So basically the two of the options on there are worded such that if you don't choose them, something bad happens instead. Right.
So the choice is don't have people dislike you and don't put yourself into a spot. And if you don't pick those, you do put yourself into a spot and people do dislike you. So you're forced or you're encouraged
But
to
yeah,
waste
that's fine.
some of your things.
It feels
Yeah.
very natural
Yeah.
that that's where this is leading.
But yeah, no,
Yeah.
especially, this is perfect.
Gotcha.
But yeah, let's talk about this though. We're still in the song, right? We're in now inspirational ballad. What's the thing you're trying to do, Brian, to change the town? What's your actual like action now? Like you're just riding around on your bikes? Like what are you actually trying to do?
We're riding into town from where we were at. So
Right. But then what, right? Like what's the thing that like Tony wants to do about this town?
I would guess we would go back to the square where the
Mhm.
diner was and everything. And at that point, the crowds would see the 2 bikes and show freedom from someone who's been in the town for a while with me who's new to the town, and show them the freedom and sing the inspiration.
Yeah, I think like we probably see Henry and Tony like offering people to jump on the back of their bike and like drive around with them. Like, right. The idea is to like spread that free spirit to the rest of the people in the town. Right. I think
just
that's
registered as two
Shake
as
up
two
the
person
status
bikes.
quo.
Yeah.
Has my carbon fixed yet?
I don't think so.
I don't think so. Yeah.
This
Do I
song
have
was
a-
when he brought it. So
Do I have a backup squad car or something? I need
I don't-
sirens.
you probably have a personal vehicle at least, right?
You have
Like-
a police motorbike in the back.
Oh yes, that's what it is. Of course.
but it's like
No.
it's like one of those with a sidecar, so it doesn't count.
No.
Yeah.
But also for right now, Brian's kicked you out of the scene. So maybe we see you
Yeah,
like
yeah.
look at this motorbike like, oh no. But for now, this is just like Tony
Uh-huh.
and Henry trying to get the town to like
Yeah.
become free spirits. And I think we need to make that roll.
Yeah, should we make a persuasion roll to see if we can sort of like
That's what I
counter
think.
the bad
Yeah.
spirit here?
Yeah, that +1 that I got, was that on the roll that I did for the catalyst?
No, that'll be this roll right
Yeah, I
here.
think this is the most
Okay.
appropriate roll we've had for it.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right.
And you also mark
Yeah.
experience. I don't know if you did that already. Not that it probably will matter, but
Yeah, I marked it 1, so I'm at 3.
Nice. But yeah, so you're rolling emotion again here. So
Emotion.
yeah.
Okay, do you want to put a 2 in there instead of 1?
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, just for the roll, then change it
Yeah.
back. Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay. 8.
Nice.
Okay, it's not bad. So same thing, right?
Can I-
They'll go along with you, but they need some concrete assurance, evidence, or leverage first.
Can I hold on, sorry.
So the townsfolk are wavering, right, between the two opinions, and whoever gives them the leverage or the like evidence first is gonna win the day.
I
like
did it.
I like to
There's
sing
more.
with
There's more.
him. If I can find that.
Yeah, but you're out of the
Here it
scene,
is.
so you can't do anything.
I know.
I'd like to sing in harmony with him.
Ooh, you got to try to increase it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we don't have a stat or a macro for this one, so you just have to manually
Yeah.
roll 2d6.
And I
there.
have 2. Okay. 2d6 greater or 2d6 plus 2. Greater than. No, it doesn't matter. Let's do that. So I got an 8.
8.
I don't think that's enough.
It is not. Yeah, you get a +1, but
Yeah.
it just increases it to a 9.
Right.
Okay, yep. So he tried to make it a full success, did not succeed.
Yeah.
He's singing harmony with you, but it's not quite working.
Oh no, that's if they fail. Never mind. Sorry. I was reading I have a thing where I can roll for them, but that's if they fail a roll, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Sorry, good.
Yeah.
So you didn't fail, you just didn't succeed.
Yeah, I just didn't do good enough. And you didn't fail
Yeah,
either,
if
so I
he
can't.
had gotten
Yeah.
if he had gotten 10 plus, he would have given you a +2, which would have increased it to a 10 plus.
Yeah, but 8 and 9 are the same result. So
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, what's the concrete assurance or evidence you're going to give them? Like, why is your way the better way, Tony?
Freedom.
Right. Yeah, but you
Freedom.
need something concrete, like show them, right? Like you have to do something, give them something. Like for example, if you were just like trying to convince one person, if you gave them your bike, then that would convince them, right? Or yeah, something. It doesn't have to be that drastic necessarily, but like,
let's see here. It would be kind of cool, like some. I'm trying to think of Grease 2. You've seen Grease 2. The
mm-mm.
guy's got a motorbike. He built this bike out of a junkyard and stuff like that, and he inspires the town through at the end and everything like that. So I'm trying to think of how could I convince them.
could Henry like basically let people ride his bike, right? Like, because that's his whole point. He doesn't even, the bike is sentimental, but he wants the town to have that freedom. So maybe he can.
Yeah.
Which I mean, logistically, these people probably don't have motorcycle licenses, but but yeah. So
Yeah, that
maybe he
makes
can basically like go on the sidelines for the sake of everyone else being able to like share in it, right? It's not about them cruising around town and being cool. It's about
It's about the free spirit of being able
Yeah.
to ride a bike.
Yeah. I think that's a great
And-
moment too, because we probably see Henry like have a line or something in the song where he has to give it up and he doesn't want to, maybe, right? He's
Right,
like,
yeah.
oh, I finally got this like freedom back, but it's more important that they have it too, right? Like,
yeah.
cool. Yeah. So I think we start to see the whole town is like getting on your side. And I think that's probably where we end the song, right? It's like,
Right.
it's not just a one bike town now, right?
Yeah.
Like everyone's on board.
Yeah.
Oh,
The whole
like
town's
that-
on our one bike, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like a clown car. Yeah. But we see like maybe there's like a couple of disgruntled people like the diner cook who still are like on Will's side, on Officer Gilmore's side.
Or I could
now it's a one-town bike.
I could get the waitress to ride my bike.
Yeah.
Yeah. Of course,
Convince
yeah.
her
Of course.
more because she was already on my side. Anyway.
Yep.
Yeah.
But I think we see the song end there, and now we move into the last song.
Yeah.
And
Also, I want
I'm
it to be the cranky cook that gets to ride my bike.
I think he does, but like it'll depend on how Will does his thing here. Maybe he shows up and then Will's like, And then as soon as Officer Gilmore shows up, the cranky cook is like, "Oh no, I wasn't."
Right.
Like,
That's what I'm thinking. Like he starts driving. He's like
Yeah.
he starts smiling like for the first time since we've seen him, and then we'll see how
Yeah.
how
and
that
then,
goes.
and then Officer Gilmore shows up. He's like, "What's
like,
happening
"Oh."
here?" Yeah, yeah. Okay, yeah. So, Will, what does that look like?
I think so.
Like the song has
Oh my
ended. We
goodness.
moved to another scene.
Okay. Narrative wise, I was able to drive the squad car to the shop. I'm wondering if I can drive it back there and then it breaks down there, and the only choice I have is to ride on the bike to get her to.
Like I even think that like you, I think it was cool that we saw like the police had a motorbike way in the back that no one uses anymore because
Yeah.
it does seem, and like because you don't have a squad car, there isn't another squad car. Like there's only one in the entire town.
Maybe we see you go to like back to the repair shop and you see your car like on blocks, like up in the air.
And it's just completely
And-
torn apart. Like there's
And like the door's
No
locked
way.
and everything. You're looking through the window, right? And you can't break in. So you're just like, oh crap.
do we see Officer Gilmore ride off on this police motorbike?
Great. Or it could be a legit like a police motor or a police bicycle or something like that, just because that would be funny.
Oh yes, no, an actual bicycle because
Yeah, like-
that's way. Yeah.
Yeah, I think a regular bicycle would be
Yeah.
would be
Maybe-
interesting and funny.
Maybe there is
so good.
a police motorbike, and
But I
next
mean,
to it is like this really
yeah.
crappy, like rusted
Uh-huh.
thing. You're like, nah, I'm taking this rusted thing.
Yep. It's out of
That's amazing.
principle.
Yeah.
And there's like a little blue and red bell, blue, white, and red bell on the thing.
Right. Yeah.
that
Yeah.
I'm ringing as it's coming through, and I'm gonna ride in and ring my bell and say, "Look at you all! Didn't I say that 1 would become 2 and 2 would become 10?"
Yeah.
And
Cook,
I think
Diner Cook is like, oh, awkwardly getting off. Like
Yeah.
I wasn't doing anything.
I think at that time I'm gonna try and start a song to recount the tragedy of my father.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah. Love it. All right. Roll to start singing, my friend. Plus
That's
melody.
Melody. Uh-oh.
Ooh, that's a
Hey.
failure, my friend. Okay, on a miss, name the song, but go wherever the music takes you.
Can
Um,
I have a move that interrupts someone else when they start singing?
Hmm.
Can I use it? Obviously, it doesn't really matter too much, but then we have more control over the thing. Is that cool?
Sure,
Can I do that?
Yep.
Okay, cool. Let's see. I think either way I get to rename it, but I'm curious to what you were going to rename it or name it first before I do this. So
Crash and burn.
Crash
Nice.
and burn.
very nice. Okay. This is plus blocking. Let me see what I get here. Nice.
That's
Okay.
10.
So, master and student, when another player character rolls to start singing, you may roll this move. Roll plus blocking. On a 10 plus, you may change the number from the original result to duet with you and the character who initially rolled. You may also determine the number's name and the visuals for the number. On a 7 to 9, you may change the number to a duet, but it doesn't matter. See, I think we start to hear whatever that song sounds like, right? It's probably like really foreboding and stuff. And then we see Henry step up. He says, "Wait," like to the melody, and like the music hangs, and then like it starts to be a more like something sort of like a little more like hearted, almost like childish, like childlike, right? I'm thinking of sort of like a little thing tune to it almost, right? And he says, basically like look around at the faces, like this. They're finally happy, but there's finally some smiles, and they finally understand the thing that made your father love to ride, right? And
Well,
so
what
like
if you change? What if you change the name of the song? You just add some parentheses, and it's "They won't crash and burn."
yeah, there you go. Yeah, I like it.
Or
Um,
he was actually going to be singing about his father, so maybe
mhm.
maybe your response would be something along the lines of who his father was
Yes.
before the crash.
Yeah,
That was exactly
I'm
my thought.
imagining. I'm imagining that like we actually even got some of Will's song, right? Some
Yeah,
of Officer
probably,
Gilmore's
yeah.
song, and it was like the diner, like the extras that we've been getting this whole time, right? Started like acting out the scene as if it was a flashback in the background,
Mhm.
and it was all dark and gloomy and depressing. And then we get Henry stepping in, and the melody, it goes from minor to major, and everything starts getting uplifting. The sun comes out, and the same extras are now playing out the same scene in the flashback, except now it's happier and whatnot.
Yeah. And yeah, I think Henry goes to talking about how, like, we went to war and he came back different men, and the only thing that made him smile was, to I can rhyme this. Hold on. Was to
You can do it, Data.
just to
I
cruise
believe
around
you.
the bend, right? And
Yeah.
and how he survived, his dad survived the war, and it was his bike that took his life, right? But he basically died doing what he loved, and he wouldn't have thought twice or something like that, right?
Yeah, like the bike took his body, but it
Yeah.
could never take his soul or something like that.
Right, yeah.
Or-
like
Or like it gave him his soul or something. Yeah.
yeah, like this is what made him joy.
Yes.
And then he keeps going, he's like, and ever since he died, I haven't got back on a bike, but and that's why I live alone and and dream about what it's like, to yeah, maybe that's what he says, right? And all this time I haven't gotten back on my bike, and instead I sit in my room alone and imagine what it's like. And then he, basically is like, but now, I get to ride it because this guy gave me the courage, right, to do what I love again.
Nice. What was the type of that song did you want it to be?
It's a duet automatically because we're
Duet.
basically a duo.
Oh, right. Yeah, of course. Yeah, it's a duet between you and Will, basically.
Yeah. Can I sage advice here?
I think so. Yeah, it sounds like that's what you're doing, right?
Sick.
So we're thinking visuals was starts
Oh, yeah,
dark
sorry.
and depressing.
Yeah.
Becomes uplifting and soulful. Are we done with they won't or he won't, he didn't crash and burn?
Oh yeah. Good for me.
Because it sounds like we're focusing on the dad
Yeah.
here.
Mm-hmm.
So crash and burn is the song he tries to sing, and you said he didn't crash and burn,
Right. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. So you rolled 9 on the blocking there. Was that your roll?
Yes. Yeah. So on 7 and 9, I choose one of these two instead. So either if they follow my advice, take +1 forward and they mark experience, or if they refuse, they get -1 forward and have to erase a director's note.
Carrot or stick, Will? Or actually, you choose, David.
I think I
obviously, but then-
choose. I guess ultimately it doesn't. Let's see.
Give me a carrot, so then
Sure. That's fine.
So then we can have a satisfying conclusion.
Yeah, we can make it a positive
Yeah.
ending. Yeah, I agree. I think we'll do that. Because this isn't him being like, stop being so lame. It's like, no, you don't understand. Like, yeah, the bike took your father's life, but it was, the reason that he had so much joy in the first place.
Yeah.
Right.
Like it took his body, but it gave him his spirit.
Yeah.
I definitely think that's a line in the song is like it.
Mhm.
The bike done took his body, but it done gave him his soul.
Yeah, right.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, cool. Yeah. So then, Officer Gilmore, do you reject or accept the sage advice being offered? You could still roll to like drop your plan and like do something horrible, but
Um.
I just feel like we might need one last
Yeah.
like.
I feel like there's got to be one thing here.
I would okay. What about this, Will? What about this? What about Officer Gilmore accepts, but
Yeah.
we roll to do his plan anyway because he's already cut the brakes, even though he decides, oh no, I
Yes.
shouldn't have done that now.
yes, that's
right?
perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds good. Yeah.
And since it's a duet, you can still roll that, right? Like,
Mhm.
go for it.
Wait, so what is that? Roll?
It's blocking.
Okay.
It's just this is my good one.
Do it.
All
Nice.
Uh-oh.
It goes
Now
off
you get
without
the
a
good roll.
hitch. It
Okay,
goes off
so-
Oh wait,
without
that's a bad thing.
hitch.
Okay.
That's bad. Yep. Okay.
That's
So,
funny.
so what does it look like, Will, when Officer Gilmore realizes he's been wrong, and then he looks at Tony, who's now like at full speed, like, and he tries to do the brakes, and they don't work, and he's about to crash. Like you see the moment happen.
With the
What do we
waitress
see
on the
Yeah.
car, right?
Yeah, waitress is on the car. Yeah, or on the motorbike.
motorcycle.
Well, this might be a
Oh my
choreography move
goodness!
from Tony.
Oh
right?
my
never mind,
goodness! Okay. Would I have learned from my father a little bit about like bike safety in case of emergency sort of thing?
Well, you have your
Probably.
dad's bike in the back that you've kept forever.
Yeah.
Yeah, like how to safely like dismount from a crashing
Oh, you're gonna like
bike.
shout it to Tony
Yeah.
over the. Okay, I love that being the end here because it's like proper procedure that is gonna save Tony's life.
Yeah.
In case of emergency, make sure you roll at a 90-degree angle. Right. Whatever it is.
There's
I
not
love
like
that.
a
Like
not a
kick it
truck
out
with-
to the side, lean down and let go.
Yeah. Whatever it ends up being. So we that you just start shouting those instructions.
After like the cruel the stone faced look on Officer Gilmore turns to like my word, I've misunderstood my dad this whole time,
Uh-huh.
and he's overcome with like emotion, and he's like getting chills down his whole body, and his face turns a little white as he remembers what he did. He looks over and like sees Tony grabbing on his brakes and them not working, and I think with reckless abandon he screams the instructions.
Nice. Okay, so
Nice.
I think what I want to happen here is, Will, I want you to roll to read the scene with blocking. Like, can you actually give him the advice he needs in time and with the presence of mind you need? And then we'll have Brian make a roll to save himself.
Yeah.
He can get a bonus if you succeed on this, right?
Okay.
So blocking. Yay, another 11.
Let's go.
Nice.
All right, so on a 10 plus, you ask 3, right? And it could be, what should be my next move? And that's shout these instructions to Tony. Where's the best positioning in the scene? Like, where should he get off the bike?
a place he can like lose
Exactly,
momentum
yeah.
at and like like go uphill or something.
Go up a
Up the side street or
crosswalk.
whatever. Yeah.
Go up a crosswalk, drive onto a lawn like parallel to the houses, and bail into the grass.
Yeah.
There you
And then I don't know what should I be on the lookout for?
Maybe there's like a pool and you know where it is. You like lead him to a pool or something.
Yeah.
To dive into.
Either way, we know that
Whatever
the
it is.
questions
Yeah.
will lead to
Right,
this,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And then whenever you act on, and I think we can finagle this. It says whenever you act on one of the director's answers, but I think I could probably rewrite this to be whenever someone acts on these answers, they take +1 forward. So Brian, you may get a +1 on whatever move you would like to do here to save yourself. I'm imagining it's just break a leg, right? or hopefully in this case, don't break a leg.
Don't.
Well, okay.
Yeah.
If I think break a leg would be the one. And
Yeah, I
then
think so.
I could, if worse comes
Yeah.
to worse, I could always do break both legs.
Exactly. Yep.
Literally, you just break both
Uh-huh.
legs.
All
Do
right.
it.
So that is what is
Choreography, I believe.
Oh, that's good. And I get a +1.
Additional +1, yep, from Will.
But, oh man, I was
You
we had
needed it.
so
You
many
needed
good
it.
rolls.
You needed the
Like-
+1 there.
Nice.
That's awesome. Yeah. So when you break a leg 10 plus, you succeed without consequence. So and this means you succeed not only for yourself but also for the waitress, right? Like you managed to
Right.
bail both of you out. Do you want to describe what that looks like?
So I guess it's a musical at this point.
Yeah.
The music is upbeat
Right.
and everything like that.
He didn't crash and burn. That's the name of the song right now.
That's perfect. Yeah.
Um,
That's just
get
what they're
up-
saying in the background, right? He didn't-
I get up on the seat holding the handlebars
Nice.
as I balance the bike out. And as I'm balancing the bike, I turn around, grab the girl, and jump into the grass.
Nice.
yeah.
The jump the shark method.
Yep. And then as the bike skids and like crashes into something and doesn't set on fire or anything, but it crashes.
Mhm.
Oh,
We
I was going to say it'd be
see-
great if it was like he didn't crash and burn, and then boom, just like explodes into like a bar or something.
but I think what we see is it skids out and everybody's worried for a second because they don't
Yeah.
like you see you guys crumpled on the grass and then you stand up and you're like holding the waitress like princess style and you're like stand up, get to one knee, stand up, and everyone's slowly saying he didn't crash and burn. He
Yeah.
didn't crash and burn. He didn't crash and burn. He didn't crash and burn. And then everyone breaks down into like the final like reprise musical number. Everyone's dancing, singing, right?
Nice.
And
Yeah,
I think
I'm dancing now.
yeah, exactly. And then we
Yeah.
see everyone join in. The mayor shows up at one point
On a
just for no
bike.
reason.
Yo,
Yeah, on a
you know,
bike,
on a
exactly.
bike.
on the police
exactly.
bike.
We get like a montage of the rest of it where everybody's riding bikes now. But
There's no more cars.
I think we get the balance though of because of we had that great moment with Officer Gilmore. He used proper procedure
Right.
to
Yeah.
help. Like we see this balance that's happening where it's like you can still be safe
Mhm.
and be free, right?
Yeah, you can
Like,
still have a free spirit and have wisdom and
and
like
have wisdom. Yep.
Yeah.
And we see everybody balance that.
He's handing out
Cool.
helmets.
Yeah, exactly.
Like
yeah,
bike
yeah,
helmets.
exactly. Everybody got to wear helmets. Yeah. Awesome. Anything else you guys would want to add to that epilogue there?
There's like 12 bike spots in front of the diner now. They just take
Right,
a bunch of the
yeah.
car spots
Yep.
and chop them in half.
Yep. Oh, it's so good.
A petition goes around town to have city subsidized bike purchasing.
Nice. There you
Okay.
go.
Yeah.
And to say, yeah,
Very
the police squad gets a brand new like motorcycle, like police motorcycle,
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yep.
or maybe a brand new police bicycle. I don't know, depending on how big.
And of course, we see Officer Gilmore. Of course, like he goes a little bit overboard with the safety precautions. He has
Yeah.
like the knee pads and the elbow pads, and like, but everyone's like giving him like a cheer when he actually gets on the bike for the first time, and yeah. What does it look like when Tony actually leaves town?
Yeah, I was wondering about that too. Do we see him like?
Well, usually
it's
you
gonna
see
be
the hero
so
right
sad.
off into the sunset.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna make it the sunrise. It's a
Yeah.
new dawn.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah. What about Henry has changed? Like what do we see from that? I'm imagining the final like conversation as you get ready to leave that morning is
Mhm.
between you two.
Oh yeah. I think we see the shop has like a couple motorcycles in it, right? And like his motorcycle's there, right? But it's not chalked up anymore. He's working on it. Yeah, I think he's basically just, and maybe we don't even like hear the dialogue, right? But I think it looks like he's thanking Tony for like doing the right thing, like being an agent of change and like for the better, right? And for basically like being who he is, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think he just says, sometimes it just takes a reminder of what freedom's like, and to bring us all out of the homes we lock ourselves in. And he's like, I appreciate you staying around. And I think maybe he goes to his bike and he pulls out the spark plugs, he'd had them the whole time, right? And it's still put these in if you want.
Thoughts on the final scene being Gilmore and shoot, why am I forgetting names?
Henry or
Henry.
Tony.
Henry, Gilmore and Henry coming with Tony up to the town line, riding up
on bikes, yeah.
and then stopping as he keeps going on, and then maybe we have a little bit of a supernatural element of seeing a flash of my father and Henry's friend on his bike in
Yeah.
Spectral. And
Yeah, I don't remember where we said it was, but if this is a flat or hot place, it'd be cool if they're driving off on the road and we see heat
shimmer.
Heat shimmer, yeah, and it looks like two people are driving along next to him.
Yeah.
On their
Yeah.
bikes. Yeah.
There you go.
Oh, that's so good.
Yeah, I like that.
This had no right to tie up this neatly.
Yeah, that was perfect. I was we have an hour and a half to do this, and I know that's amazing. You and me, at least. There's zero chance. And that was great.
Well, there you go. That's Show Tunes. Thanks, guys. That was a blast.
That was awesome.
I really enjoyed that.
Really,
yeah,
really fun.
It tied up really neatly.
Yeah.
Cool. Awesome. So we will go ahead and leave off here because we're definitely over time. But I'll probably have a few questions to shoot you guys in the Discord chat. Just ask about the game, what you guys thought about it, any changes anything that seemed awkward or clumsy, that sort of thing. That'd be great to get your feedback. So
sounds good.
Good.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks for playing. We will go ahead and end here. Thank you for watching. We are out. Adios.